Welcome back, everybody. This is the Legalize Stalling Podcast, episode 9, and I'm one of your hosts, Jake Tucker, here with Skylar Crespo. Huge weekend of wrestling this past weekend. Final X went down. We're going to cover all of it. I think we wanted to touch on a few things prior to that. What do you think, Crespo?
Yeah, we could jump into some of the big portal updates. Portal's been moving all summer, but I would say the big ones are Ferrari getting almost, it seems like, kicked out of Carolina, or North Carolina, I should say, before he even got in. I don't necessarily know all the details, but it seems like somebody was upset with his off-the-mat stuff and didn't want him let him into the school. Thought it was a bad look. So that deal is off. He's back into the portal, basically, and Nebraska ends up picking him up. Kind of an interesting move because they have a 197-pounder that All-American last year, Camden McDaniel, I don't know how you say it exactly. He placed, I want to say, 8th or 7th at 197. So that makes me think that Ferrari's moving to heavyweight, but I know that he's a younger guy. McDaniel is. He could redshirt too. So not really sure what the plan is there. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I just kind of wanted to touch on real quick the Ferrari at North Carolina stuff. I think it's egregious. I think it's messed up. Not a fan of what happened with that. I mean, I know that AJ Ferrari, I'm not, and this is me coming from a place, I am not like a big outspoken AJ Ferrari fan. I was when he was at Oklahoma State. I was like, when he made that run as a true freshman, I was like, I'm on board. But his antics, I'm not really a fan of, but he kept it pretty clean this year. Kind of seemed like he was maturing a little bit off the mat. I mean, he's still a great wrestler, obviously. Transfers, he gets into North Carolina. They're putting together like a pretty good portal offseason. And then it was someone at North Carolina, I believe it was a girlfriend of a former wrestler, and she came out and said some things about it, and apparently that's where it all kind of stemmed from. I think it's ridiculous. I think he should have gotten that chance, but regardless, he's heading to the Big Ten, which I was kind of surprised about, honestly, because he goes from Oklahoma State and then Cal Bakersfield, and then he went to North Carolina. It seemed like he was, I don't want to say avoiding it, but I didn't expect him to go to the Big Ten. So yeah, I hope it works out for him. That Camden McDaniel or whatever, I think that's how you say it, McDaniel or whatever. At Nebraska, the 97-pounder, he's good, but like you said, he's young, so he could burn the red shirt, or he's going up to heavyweight. Regardless, something to keep our eyes on.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting you said, like, not avoiding the Big Ten, but I do see the theme that you're getting with. I also, look at his season last year. I mean, he wasn't wrestling a lot of tough guys in season. They went to CKLV and he didn't wrestle. I know there were some dual opponents that he was supposed to wrestle and was hurt or was sick or whatever reason he did not wrestle that day. I mean, as you know, that stuff doesn't really fly in the Big Ten. Like, you can't really duck guys in the Big Ten season because everybody's tough. So it will be interesting to see him in there. It's just seeing how he fits the lineup, the culture. I don't know if him and Mark Manning personalities, I don't know either of them, but I don't know if those mesh well. They seem kind of like opposite people to me, but I don't know. We'll see.
Right. Yeah, I don't yeah, I guess I could see the opposite personalities. He's kind of an intense guy though, Mark Manning, so I guess I would have to be in Lincoln to know how that whole dynamic is.
Exactly.
In terms of the portal, also, 2 Northern Colorado guys left and already committed somewhere since Nickerson took the Army West Point job. Vinny Zerbin and Steve O'Poulin. Poulin's an All-American. I think Zerbin is maybe a 2-time blood rounder.
No, he All-American this year.
Oh,
he placed this year. Yeah.
Oh,
he
wow.
placed 7th,
Okay, yeah.
I think.
Okay. You want me to
Or something like that.
I'll
yeah,
check. But he's good. Vinny Zerbin is legit. So, and they both committed to Iowa State?
Yes, they're both going to Iowa State. Yeah, I think the butterfly effect here. I mean, we talked about it in an earlier podcast. There hasn't been a ton of huge coaching changes yet. Um, you got what's his name? Kevin Ward left Army West Point for Oklahoma State, going back to his alma mater. He's an assistant now. So Nickerson, being originally from New York, wrestled at Cornell, moves over to Army West Point. Obviously, it being a military academy, it's hard for those guys to follow him. I'm sure, Poulin and Zervin might have tried to follow him if it wasn't just a military academy. You know what I mean? But obviously, you can't do that. So, yeah, Iowa State swooping in and taking great advantage of that coaching change.
Yeah, Zerbin, All American at 57 this year. He got sixth.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew he was in the mix. I just wasn't sure if he got on the podium. But yeah, and Steve O'Pullen obviously is kind of almost a household name, like I'd say.
Yeah, I mean
And
the YouTube video, and then obviously he's an All American now. So,
right.
yeah.
So, um, I don't know. Iowa State, in the beginning of this portal season, it looked like they were like screwed,
Yes.
and they totally turned it around. So I don't know.
It's crazy. I mean, that's how the portal works. It gives and it takes. Sometimes you have a great offseason with the portal, and sometimes you have a really bad one. I mean, and they've historically been pretty good in the portal, I would say. Iowa State always picking up guys, but I think if you're always picking up guys, you're going to always have guys leaving too. It's not going to be a one-way street.
True. Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah, I wanted to add too. I saw on Twitter, nothing confirmed from like his account or anything, but people are kind of passing it off as fact that Cody Chinham left Ohio State for Tennessee Chattanooga. That would make sense. That's kind of where he's from. Me and Tucker were talking about that. He's a Tennessee kid originally. Bounced around quite a bit. He is committed to, believe,
so I
Minnesota.
don't, you want to just like start from the beginning. So like out of high school.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think while in high school, he was committed to Minnesota, and then he switched from Minnesota to Iowa, and then right before his freshman year of college, switched from Iowa to Iowa State, and then he competed there for a true freshman year, correct?
Yeah,
And
two
then a
years, right?
second year, 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, for
So
two
true
years.
freshman and sophomore year, he's at Iowa State, and then he hits the portal, commits to Ohio State. I don't know if he ever even got there, if he was training there, but now he's going to Chattanooga. So
Did they bring in anyone else?
Chattanooga,
No, Ohio State around 57.
yeah, they brought in Styles from Oregon State, who's a
He's going to
49.
Ohio State?
Yeah,
Hmm. Okay.
they brought in Rocco Welsh or not Rocco Welsh. I'm sorry, Fishback as well,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah, they got Fishback. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's because they still have Brandon Cannon. Maybe that's a lineup fit thing, and Chittum didn't like it, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, I don't know if we touched on this after the U23s. Did you see Brandon Cannon? He lost first round to
I
Cardenas.
didn't watch him, but I saw the result that he like came back to take third.
Yeah, 12 matches.
That's insane.
12 matches. That is so impressive.
What is that? 2 days too?
Yeah, it's 2 days. I'd imagine probably like 6-6, maybe even like 7-5, something like that.
Right,
Or
but
like
those aren't
seven
like
one day, five the other day. You know what I mean?
it's not like Virginia Beach duels where you like catch a putt and like can pin him. Like these are all like legit college wrestlers that he
Yeah.
built.
Jeez, man. I mean, yeah, he is. He's kind of becoming, you know, kind of a favorite.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
that like super cool run at Big Tens, and then he goes to U23s. He doesn't win it, but he still does something very impressive. Like you know what I mean?
Well, I think too he had like health issues in high school. Like I think he had like leukemia in high school or something like that.
Yeah,
And
he was
like
like in the hospital a bunch, and
yeah,
yeah, he was like in rough shape. Um, so yeah, just kind of a cool story.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
all right, you want to dive into Final X?
Let's do it. It was good, dude. It was. I feel like in past years, Final X is kind of boring, but this year I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. I kind of had some things going on. I remember I missed like the first three matches. Had to run and do something, and then like towards the end, I had to go to dinner with my family. So I like did the old like prop the phone up while I'm at dinner. Like, And but it was still really cool to see. It was fun. Um, it just makes me think that if Vito and Jax would have wrestled, it would have been so much better.
Yes, yes, I agree. One thing you pointed out is it was crazy that Yanni and PJ is the only one to go to three, because there was a lot of good matches. Like, I mean, Carr swept Messenbrink, but that was a great two matches. Like, it wasn't like he dominated or anything. Yeah, losing Vito and Jack sucks, especially because like I don't know, maybe he could have rode that high school momentum that PJ was riding, but I don't know. I'm excited for it to be at Faro because I'm going to be there, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, that's true. You lucky. You're lucky. Also, I just wanted to make a point to mention. I know that we don't cover a ton of girls and women's wrestling, but Helen Maroulis just made her 15th straight world or Olympic team, and I just think that shouldn't go unnoticed. Probably one of the most impressive things I've seen in the last couple of years. The longevity is is insane.
Yeah, to be that good for 15 years and like it all goes right for 15 years. I mean, what if she misses weight one year or she gets hurt or there's so many things that can go wrong to mess you up from making a world team. To do it 15 years in a row is insane.
Yeah, it's like so disciplined, and obviously she's one of the best. Did she get bronze in Paris?
I think so. I believe so.
So yeah,
It's pretty it's not as long as you. You've probably been on a little longer, but she's been making a world team since I started wrestling, roughly.
okay.
Like every year almost. I
Wow.
mean, 15 years ago I was like what how long ago was that? Why is my math messing? 9? I was
So
9 years old when she was.
2010.
Yeah, I was 9,
When did you start wrestling?
like 8 or 9, like third grade. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So good for Helen. That's awesome. Glad she's still still on the team
yeah, definitely.
this many years later. Um, okay. So you just want to do this by weight?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do. I don't know. I feel like we should finish with Yanni and Duke, no? Or should we
Yeah.
start with Yanni and Duke?
No, let's finish with Yanni and Duke.
All right, weight order and then finish with them.
Yeah. Okay. So 57 kilos, Spencer and Lilladall. This kind of went how I expected it. Spencer, it just seemed like he it looked like he was just waiting for Lilladall to do something. And every time he did, he was able to score off of it. Or almost every time,
Right.
a lot of his points came from reattacks or like Lilladall would shoot in and he'd hit that drag, things like that. Seemed like there was a bit of a strength difference, and that's visually, like,
Yes.
and that's like just watching from the TV. I was like, Luke just it just doesn't look like he's a true 57 kilo on the world stage guy. He's a 25er in college, obviously,
Yeah.
and he fits that role well. But yeah, it just seems like the strength.
Let's. I mean, to not beat around the bush, he's just not a grown man yet, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And not that this is a problem. He's young. Like, you know what I mean? He's 19, 20 years old. I think in 4 or 5 years that match looks completely different. I think he honestly surprised me with. I kind of thought Spencer would dominate a little more, if that makes sense. So I thought Lilladall wrestled fine. Again,
Did you
I
see
think
that?
his biggest. What's that?
Did you see that duck under he hit?
Yes, yes,
So slick.
yes. Like he's skilled enough to wrestle with Spencer Lee, in my opinion. He's just not physically there to beat him. Um, yeah, Lee seemed pretty upset about the way he beat him. Like in all his interviews, he's talking about like I wrestled like crap and like I didn't do anything out there, and it's just like I don't know, give the kid some respect. Lilladall's pretty damn good, you know.
Yeah, I mean he's an Olympic silver medalist, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
So he can come off that way, I guess. Um, but yeah, I guess in summary, went about the way I'd say everybody thought it was going to go.
yeah. Two controlled wins from Spencer. Yeah, I don't think anybody was shocked by that. I think, like you said, on paper went about how it went on the mat.
Right. All right, you want to jump ahead?
Yeah, 65.
Yeah, Real Woods takes out Joey McKenna in 2 matches. These were fun also. I enjoyed these. I am officially a Real Woods fan, I think. He looked amazing. I
Yeah,
don't know.
he
What do
looks
you,
great. I'm not ready to call him I'm not a fan necessarily, but I need to stop doubting him. I'll say that. I didn't really think I didn't really see him winning this series, especially sweeping McKenna. But obviously he's getting better, and he, like you said, he looked good. Like he deserved to win both those matches. It wasn't like he got lucky. Like he won those fair and square, and if he goes and balls out for USA, then I'll be a fan. How about that?
okay.
He has to go medal for us.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say. I mean, I guess I just don't really know uh, what was going on when he was in Iowa City, because I don't want to say he was boring, but he just wasn't that. He wasn't that exciting,
He wasn't
and
that
maybe
offensive.
yeah, and maybe it's because it was in folk style, but dude, in freestyle when he was at World Team Trials and Final X, man, dude, lighten it up, like
I mean, he
fun match.
bombed McKenna. Like he put him on his head. Like
Yeah,
yeah, no, those matches were exciting. Like you said, he's I don't know. It looks like he's jumped levels since he left Iowa to me from joining Cliff Keen. But again, that's a different style too. Some guys are just better and free and different in folk. But yeah, he's jumping levels and hopefully he can go get us a medal this summer or this what is it in the fall, summer, fallish,
I think it's like September, October, something like that.
right? Okay, yeah,
We should probably know that.
they're all like in that beginning of fall, summer, aren't they? Like U20, U23,
Yeah.
senior.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, he looked great though. Joey McKenna. Um, I mean, it just seems to be. It just seems to me that he just can't like put it together. We know he's one of the best in the world. I mean, what was it, a year ago, like before the Olympics, he tech followed Sebastian Rivera,
Right.
who's a bronze medalist at the Olympics. I don't know. You know, it's interesting. What do you think?
What sucks to me is when you see a career go like McKenna's, this is about when they retire. Like, you know what I mean? And it sucks because, like, he's obviously that good. But, like,
Hmm.
if he retired in a month, I wouldn't be that surprised.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, now he'll probably keep it together for 2028, I would assume. Most guys, like, usually work in those Olympic cycles. But I don't know. When you fall short that many times and you're that close, I'm sure it's very frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's almost like in his college career too. I mean, he took third twice. He took second once. Like he's just always right there. He just never can win the big one. Essentially,
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope he doesn't retire. I don't. I mean, I think we need all the 65 kilograms we can because historically we struggle at that weight internationally.
Well, it's like the toughest weight internationally.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I hope he doesn't retire. Um, all right. So we would normally do 70 right now. We're gonna wait. So Carr and Messenbrink at 74 kilos. I was super shocked to see that this went 2 matches instead of three. I thought for sure it would go three. Alex Ursopoulos, one of our buddies, called it in the group chat, which I was so shocked that he was able to predict that. He said that Carr would win in two. I told him he was crazy. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I agreed with you like immediately. I thought Carr had a chance to win the series, but I didn't think he would get swept. That's for sure. Or he would sweep Messenbrink, I should say. Um, but it's just match management, dude. Like when Carr is in that big match, he's better at managing it than Messenbrink. Clearly, like is he the better wrestler? I don't know, but in the 6 minutes of when it matters, he is every time. So I don't know. I heard that Burroughs had been coaching him up, which I'm sure definitely helps because I don't know. Messenbrink didn't have a lot of answers for Burroughs, that's for sure. When they last wrestled, but yeah, man, I was happy to see Carr win. I wanted Carr to win. I didn't think he was going to though. I thought thought Messenbrink's pace would be too much. I was a little shocked in the first match. I thought Messenbrink was up late with a lead and kind of took his foot off the gas, which is the opposite of his style. He's kind of go, go, go. You would think he would, try to overwhelm him, and I think that's kind of what lost him the match, at least the first one, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It seemed like he kind of took his foot off the gas in that first match. Um, that was actually one of the ones I missed, but my dad kind of like caught me up to speed on that. The second match was like very similar. I remember like Messenbrink was winning, or like he was winning on like criteria, and
Mm-hmm.
Carr was able to like take him down
Yep.
to go ahead and ice it. And yeah, it's interesting because it did seem a lot like match management. Um, like you said, is he better than Messenbrink? I mean, I would I would say so. Obviously, I mean he's up 3-1 in the series altogether, right?
No. Are we counting freestyle and folk?
Yeah.
Didn't he lose twice to Messenbrink in
No,
freestyle? Or no, just once?
just once.
Oh, then I think you're right.
Yeah, he's up 3-1. I would say, yeah. I'm glad he was. I was rooting for him. Let's just say that. And then, it's interesting because I've heard this twice, and like one from each side. Like I remember someone saying like, oh, like it seems like Messenbrink is just kind of like Carr's kryptonite after that U.S. Open loss that he took.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Final X, I can't remember who mentioned it, or maybe I saw it on Facebook or Twitter or something. But they were like, "Oh well, Carr is just like Messenbrink's kryptonite," and I'm like, "Okay, it can't be both."
No. What I think it is I think it's two wrestlers that are very, very close in like level of how good they are, and if they wrestle 10 times, it's probably 5-5.
Yeah,
It's like, but like I said, I think Carr's just better at winning the five that matter, like locking in for the, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, which is surprising because it always seems like Penn State has a plan, and they always can game plan and figure out a guy, and I don't know. I'm kind of leaning with Carr as Messenbrink's kryptonite right now, but
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like you said, Penn State usually has a plan, but everybody's got a plan until the other guy is working with Jordan Burroughs, right?
yeah, and
Um,
that's the one guy that Penn State can really never figure out.
yeah, except for Jason Nolf, Olympic team trials.
Yeah, but Burroughs is
It's
40.
towards the
That doesn't
end. It's
count.
towards the end. I know. But yeah, I'm glad that Carr is our guy. I think it's obvious that he could do well on the world stage. So, um, yeah, I'm excited to watch him wrestle.
One thing I want to talk about from that second match, and I was rooting for Carr to win, but if I was rooting for Messenbrink, I'd be really upset. Do you remember when he went rubber knee and then like forced his knee in a really bad position and then exposed his back and they stopped it right before they exposed his back? I'd be really upset if I was Penn State about that.
So wait, is that that rubber knee, that bad position? They blow that in freestyle?
I guess. It looks like it, but
I didn't know they did that.
I didn't either. But my biggest gripe would be like Carr put himself there. Like when you go rubber knee like that, I think you're making a conscious decision that my knee could get torn up right now. And if you don't want to do that, then you shouldn't put yourself in that position, in my opinion.
True.
Because it feels like an unfair bailout. This is just like the opposite perspective. It feels like an unfair bailout to me. But
Match management, bro.
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Winners win.
Yeah. Um, okay, let's jump ahead. Levi Haynes beats Evan Wick in two. I gotta be honest, these were two that I missed, but it seemed Haynes just had him figured out.
Yeah, I watched the first one. I think he got a lace and ended up rolling him up. Yeah, he looked really good. Now, how good is Evan Wick compared to the world stage at 79 kilos? I don't know. We talked about this before. Neither of these guys are super well versed in the senior level, so it's kind of hard to tell how well Levi could do this fall. I don't know. He looked really good to me, though, in my opinion. and even before, what is that? I don't know, 3 weeks ago when he wrestled Hamidi again, got that win back. He looked a lot better than he did at NCAs. He looks good. I don't know. Hopefully he can do well for us this summer. Finally getting on a senior world team.
Yeah, I think he's obviously Levi is. I think he's super talented. He's a Nittany Lion kid, so he's gonna have a game plan going into Worlds. I'm not upset about that. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I'm happy that he's on the team. So um,
Now, another talking point here. Kyle Dake probably could walk through that weight, could he not?
yeah, I was surprised about that. When I was watching him wrestle Zahid, maybe it was like the second time, but I was just like, why didn't he go 70, 79?
They showed their height before. I think they said he was 5'8", and Zahid's like 6'2". And it's like, he's clearly
Yeah,
an 86.
I've seen Kyle Dake in person. He's not tall.
Right. And what is 86 kilograms? 189? Almost 190?
Here, let me look.
I think it's like 189 point something, which, just eyeball test, I would think Zahid walks around at 210, 205. Yeah. So Zahid's probably cutting 10, 15 pounds to get there, and Dake's just showing up.
Do you think it's just he's been wrestling for so long and competing at a high level for so long, he's just like, I'm not cutting weight?
Yeah, it could be that, and it could be if I'm going 86 kilograms at 2028, then why make 79? You know what I mean? Like, why not build up into to 86? That could be part of it. I would think after he lost at the Open, or whenever he wrestled Zahid first at the Open, right? It's a coward move, but at that point, I probably would have went 79 kilograms. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, this guy's big, he's strong, he's going to be really hard to beat. And I'm sure he rolls around with Levi Haynes. He knows how that matchup goes. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe Nittany Lion was just trying to like stack the world team.
That could be it too.
Like he did it for the team. Yeah, to what you said about him trying to just build into 86, I just don't think, regardless, I just don't think he has the frame for it.
I don't either.
He's not big enough.
I don't think so either, especially at this age too.
Yeah.
Like, he's not in his prime. Maybe in 2016 he could get away with it, but
yeah. Well,
I saw somebody. Did you ever seen that clip when he's arguing with Jordan Burroughs, Kyle Dake, and he's like, "I'm getting younger every day." He's like, "You're getting older every day, and I'm just getting younger every day." And Burroughs is like, "You get younger every day."
yeah, he seems like an interesting guy. Kind of, I don't know what the right word is.
Interesting for sure.
He's an interesting guy. Yeah, but I got to be honest. I want to apologize to Zahid. I said that he would probably gas out. He didn't. Honestly, he looked great. If anything, Kyle looked a little tired.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. He's too big. He's used to moving around a 74 kilogram guy, and you try to move around a 200-pound man, it's a lot harder.
Yep.
I think that's the best I've ever seen Zahid look. Kyle Dake didn't sniff a like offensive score, really. You know what I mean? Like, and no point in that series did I think Kyle Dake could win. So,
yeah.
And I feel like we've never seen Dake get shut down like that. Maybe last year's Olympics, maybe, but like, it's rare. You know what I mean? Like, he's always in matches.
Yeah, I don't even think he really got shut out in the Olympics though, because him and Takatani was like a good match.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
He got beat, but it wasn't like he got shut down.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, but I think that Zahid is. I think he can do well, if he's on.
Yes.
So
all day.
Yeah.
All day. I mean, he's medaled before at 92, didn't he? I think he took bronze at 92 last year.
Here, I can look it up. You want to jump ahead? Hidlay and Barr?
Yeah, Hidlay Barr. Hidlay finally kind of breaks through. I feel like he has a similar career up until this point to Joey McKenna, just kind of always falling a little bit short. He lost to Brooks probably 3 times at the NCAA tournament, if I had to guess off the top of my head. Always just stuck behind a Penn State guy. Finally breaks through, beats Josh Barr, Michigan guy. 2 close matches. The second one, there was an exchange where Barr put Hidlay to his butt, and Penn State wanted to take down. They actually awarded the takedown right away, and then they took it away. Honestly, I wanted some more insight on that position because Burroughs seemed pretty convinced it was a takedown, and the refs disagreed. So I don't know. I think Jordan Burroughs knows what he's talking about. So I was kind of confused.
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting position. It was like out. It was on the edge.
Yeah.
And he was ground. They were both grounded, and then Josh Barr just kind of like really lowered his level to like almost like to the mat, and just dove forward, and kind of like pushed him over to his butt, and he was around the legs.
But wasn't Hidlay almost still like in a split? Like one of his butt cheeks was on the mat, and the other one was like kind of split it out. I think
Maybe. Honestly, I don't think the camera angle was very good. They were like too punched in.
Exactly. They needed to be at Hidlay's back, and they were at like Hidlay's front. I feel like.
Yeah, I just think they were too zoomed in. Like
that too.
We could have gotten a wider shot of it. We could have seen, but yeah, that was interesting. It was kind of a chippy series. Like you saw the Davison coming out a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the big deal. Everybody is acting like Josh Barr is the devil for shaking his hand too. Like he shook his hand. I don't know. They're mad that he didn't shake his hand twice. For me, one handshake's enough. Like that's good enough for me. They shook hands. It gets chippy.
Freestyle is so like, all right, everybody in the middle. You have to do this and then like turn.
Yes, and then like we have to make sure that the refs approve of it and like paddle it and like
it's like so the refs know who won.
Yes.
Like I get it. I guess I get it at Worlds. But like, we trust each other.
And then it's like they have them go take a picture with the stop sign or the American flag or whatever, and then they're like, go check in at the head table to make sure they got your name. It's like we just announced it over the loudspeaker, but yeah, we can triple check for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, people were pretty upset about that. Go ahead.
Zahid, he did. Yeah, in 2023, he took bronze at 92.
Okay, yeah. I thought he'd medaled before. But yeah, dude, I think it's just I don't know, a couple Penn State scandals are coming out right now, and I think people are just reaching for something to get mad at Penn State about. I saw Barr responded to it pretty well. I thought people were hating on him, and he was like, my bad, essentially. You know what I mean? He owned up to it. He didn't tweet back and say, screw Trent Hidlay. So, I don't know. I think that's just wrestling.
I mean, there are worse things that could happen.
Yes.
You know,
like and shaking someone's hand and walking off the mat.
Yeah, like he did shake his hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it happened. But dude, yeah, I'm super happy that Hidlay was able to get it done, just solely because he was always number 2.
He's a likable guy too. Like I saw somebody tweet, "You either hate or you love Trent Hidlay. There's no in between." And somebody was responding like, "Find somebody that hates Trent Hidlay. Like nobody dislikes this guy."
Yeah, that bro thought he cooked on that one. It's like nothing. All right, you want to jump ahead?
Yeah, we can go ahead.
All right, our guy Kyle Snyder beat Hayden Zilmer 2 matches to 0. This one, much like 57 with Spencer Lee, it kind of just went how we thought it was going to go.
Yeah, in terms of the wrestling, fairly boring. What else was boring was the commentating. I don't know. Do you want to actually talk about this? Because that's what people that like to talk about wrestling do. Unlike the Flow broadcast that, didn't bring up anything.
They just didn't mention it.
They didn't mention they acted like it was 2 years ago. Kyle Snyder. They didn't talk about one scandal, one scenario. I get it. There's probably like legal waters they have to tread through, but I don't know. When a football player gets suspended for something and comes back, it's talked about, right? Like
Yeah,
we don't act like it didn't happen.
it is. Yeah, you know, I guess I'm just surprised that maybe they didn't mention it in like a cryptic way. You know, like yeah, like obviously he's had some adversity recently. He's had to bounce back from that, like something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like even just a little mention of something, nothing at all. I didn't hear any boos when he came out or anything. Almost like climactic, I would say. Snyder Wrestling.
I don't know why. Like I know that we were, we were just, I guess, clowning on him like the last pod,
Yeah.
but it was like we're obviously joking. Like Kyle Snyder is probably a good dude. I
Yes.
don't know him personally, but
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody would boo him, right?
True. True.
What did you think of the Rudis thing?
Like I just don't know what they were going for. Like what was the best case scenario of that post going out?
I
For people that
don't
don't know,
know.
Rudis posted a picture. It was like two slides of Kyle Snyder's like back in a Rudis singlet, and it said, "What is it? What it?
He's not wrestling for redemption. He's wrestling from it.
Yes, he's not wrestling for redemption. He's wrestling from it."
Which I got to be honest, I didn't get that right away. I don't even really know what it means still. Like I'm
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna say
it doesn't
I
make any
I
sense.
asked ChatGPT about it, and it still didn't really make sense to me. Um, I mean, this is going to come off as like mean or clowning again, but the idea that I got from it is like, yeah, he does this. Like we do this normally. Like he's gonna keep doing this. Like that's what it sounded like to me.
like, like that's just who he is.
Yes, that's what it sounded like, and like I'm sure they weren't going for that idea, but that's what it came off as to me. But
Yeah, I gotta be honest. They don't seem the brightest over there at Rudis.
and this is after I'm
Corner.
pretty sure they like wiped everything clean of Kyle Snyder when it first happened.
They did. So that's what I had a conversation with somebody about this, and they were like, well, well, what's the big deal? And I was like, what's the big deal? The day it happened, they wiped everything off. But now 2 or 3 weeks later, it's no big deal. It's okay,
Exactly.
right? It's like why take it down initially?
Yeah, I
I don't
agree.
know.
Like you either have to be fully behind your guy, or you when he does something bad, it's gone. Pick one. Like you can't. Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah, and then like the person I was having the conversation with, they were like, well, maybe Rudis couldn't boot him because of like maybe they had a contract, and I was like, you don't think that would maybe be some fine print in the contract? like,
Yeah, I'm sure they. You have to word that in the contract that if you are in bad publicity, I'm sure it's very vague like that. Where like if you do something bad, we can fire you. Like
yeah, and like in the public eye.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
but all right, let's digress.
Yeah, in
Uh,
terms of wrestling, it was pretty, pretty on paper. Like Tucker said, it went about as people thought it would go. Snyder
does,
back on the world team.
does he get a medal?
Is Sajalayev and Tazadinov wrestling?
I don't know.
If he can, I don't think he beats those two guys. Is what I would say.
Is the other guy Tazinov? Is that who you said?
Tazadinov, yeah,
Tazadinov? That's the young Iranian, right?
yeah.
I
Where's
don't
he
know.
wrestle for now? He's Russian, but he wrestles for Bahrain, I think.
Bahrain. Okay.
Um,
It was Iran. Sorry.
I believe he like grew up with Sajalayev, like in his club.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So if those two wrestle, might be tougher. But
exactly. I don't think the last time he wrestled those two, it didn't look like he had any answers. So I'm not ready to say he can beat one of those two yet, but can he go get a bronze or like a silver if he's on the opposite side? Sure.
yep. Okay. Let's move ahead. Last one before the big one. Wyatt Hendrickson takes out Trent Hilger in 2 matches. their second match was awesome. Like
Awesome.
one of the best matches I'd seen in a while. Well, one of the best matches of that entire card or whatever.
Agreed.
Yeah, super.
Um, did you catch the first one of them?
No, I don't think so. I think that was one of the three or four that I missed in the beginning.
Yeah, I missed some in the beginning too, same as you. And I didn't rewatch it because it was a 10-0, so I assumed he just got rolled up. Um, so going into the second match, I thought the same thing was going to happen. Like I thought Hendrickson would probably tech him pretty quickly, but it was super super exciting. Hilger bombed him once. Seemed like Hilger couldn't defend Hendrickson's gut very well. Every time Hendrickson got on top, he was getting a turn or two. But yeah, especially for a heavyweight match, super super exciting. What was the final score? Like
It was like
18 to
18
12.
to 18 to 14 or something like that.
Right, right. Yeah, super exciting match.
Ogre had the lead with like I don't know a minute or two left, maybe like a minute and a half left. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like wow. Yeah, he looked good. Hendrickson, he put on a good performance, I'd say, but it still makes me wonder how he's gonna do on the
I
road
think
pitch.
watching Hendrickson, like he still has a lot of room to grow in terms of just like it looks like he just got exposed to high level wrestling, if that makes sense. Like he's just a great athlete that like is finally learning how to actually manage a match and like know when to shoot and when not to shoot and stuff. So I think that was shown in that match, whereas I don't think Gable would get in a 14-18 exchange with Hilger. You know what I mean? And I don't think Hendrickson needs to do that either. I think if he manages the match, he can tech Hilger. I think he's that much better than him, but he was just kind of putting himself in bad positions. I think at one point, like he ran down a double and Hilger like chest wrapped him through or head pinched him through, and just kind of nuance, freestyle nuance, that type of thing.
Yeah, like it almost seemed like he was like getting a little overzealous out there.
Yes, which I don't know. Do you want to jump? Are you ready to jump through to the next weight?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the same thing with Yanni, whereas first match he texts him, right? We're jumping to 70 kilograms. Yanni and PJ Duke. First match, Yanni texts him, right? I think he got like a little overconfident, overzealous, and just thought he could kind of just dive into positions and win the positions. And I think that was what swayed the momentum where Duke started winning those 50-50 positions that Yanni was forcing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I just think it's uh, so indicative of like how good PJ Duke is and is gonna be in at Penn State and stuff like that because you go out there and like get manhandled the first match and then it kind of is happening in the second match, but you stay in it. I mean, obviously it's easy to just like give up, be like, well, you know what, made it to Final X. And I know this is PJ Duke, and this is not like me if I was in high school. Like
Right.
that would have totally been me. Like you know, it's so easy to just chalk it up and be like, well, we made it this far. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Yanni, it looked like he was trying to end it in like dramatic fashion, and then you know, a scramble happened, didn't go his way. Looked like he was getting a little tired, and then another big move from PJ. All of a sudden, momentum. It was really interesting to see. Um, yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because if you told me that like the momentum swung like that before I watched them, I would think it swung in the old guy's favor. Like usually the veteran is the one that can stay in it, keep his head, weather the storm, and keep wrestling through it. But yeah, for an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, however old he is, to get 10 0'd and go back in the tunnel and say, all right, it's fine. Like, I'm just going to keep wrestling. I'm going to keep stick to the plan. And yes, very, very impressive. Especially, like, just mentally, like, at that age. Like, I think Stevan talked about it. He's not a man yet. Like, you got to become a man before you can reset your mind like that most of the time. It seems like, at least. Um, but yeah, dude, it was crazy. Like you said, you see it more in hindsight, but when he was looking over at Mike Gray asking for that brick on one knee, you could just tell in his eyes like he needed it. He needed a break.
Yeah, and he didn't get it.
No. And when you mentally, when you tell yourself like, I don't know, I shouldn't put myself in Yanni's brain, but if he's sitting there telling himself I need a break, and you don't get a break, it's over. It's over. Like
Yeah,
that's when the floodgates open up.
especially when you're supposed to win this match.
And
Um,
honestly, so he 10-0s in the first match, and PJ comes back to the second match. I thought still Yanni's just gonna reset. You know what I mean? He's gonna go back in the tunnel. He's the veteran here. He's gonna reset his mind. He's gonna come out and win. And it kind of looked like he was gonna until he put him on his back.
yeah, that was sweet. That's something you don't see very often, and I feel like it's only maybe something that you can hit on the funky guys like Yanni. He was in on the shot. He limp arms out, but instead of trying to like cover, he went overhook, levered it, like lifted the leg, clamped down here, and popped him right to his back. That is so high level from an 18-year-old kid. I mean, we witnessed greatness, um, and I was super psyched that I was able to watch it. Um,
And
it was
yeah,
insane.
something like that technique and sequence you just talked about. Like I don't think that's in the tunnel. His coach is telling him, "Hey, when you limp arm, go to it." I think that's like a mid match adjustment of like, "Hey, every time I limp arm, I can't cut across, so I have to do something else." And like to make that in match adjustment at 18 years old against a four timer, a guy who's won a world silver medal before, like different level, dude. Different
I know,
level.
I know. It was, man, it was crazy to see.
Another
Crazy
thing
to see.
Another thing I want to point out too is like there's obviously a lot of high school hype with like a lot of high schoolers like making Final X and beating senior level guys and stuff. Nobody's doing it at a man's weight except for PJ Duke. Nobody is doing it above 145 pounds except for PJ Duke. Like it's one thing to go after wrestle Seth Gross, who's 130 pounds, but to go beat a grown man of 160-pound Yanni, 154 I think is what the weight is. Super impressive. You don't see that at those big weights, middle weights, I should say. But
Right, right, yeah. And obviously, there's a lot of hype. Um, like I remember last year for the non-Olympic weight worlds, and like through like world team trials or Olympic team trials and stuff. It was Marcus Blaze, but that was at 57 kilos. Then he goes up to 61. He loses the veto, so it was close. Um, yeah, and I mean for PJ Duke to make a senior world team in that fashion, probably the most impressive thing that we've seen from a high schooler.
ever,
In Yeah, ever.
I think ever.
I think ever too. I mean, Aaron Pico almost making the Olympic team was close, as a high schooler, and then my dad said that Snyder was in high school when he made a world team. Is that true?
No, but I believe Snyder was the youngest American to win a world gold. He was 19.
But he was a freshman at Ohio State.
I think that was right after he lost to Kylan Gadsden. Right after that season.
Okay.
I would have to look into it to be sure, but I'm pretty sure because I remember being shocked that he didn't win NCAAs but won the worlds in the same year.
Okay.
Because when you're 12, you can't really wrap your head around that concept,
Right.
But or however old I was, but um,
Right. Um, but yeah, hats off to PJ Duke. And I'm a Yanni fan. I've been a Yanni fan for a long time. Uh, since even when he was at Cornell and stuff. So I'm hopefully he's able to bounce back because I think he's good for the sport.
oh yeah,
Um,
oh yeah,
I
and
do. What's up? Go
no,
ahead.
you go.
I wanted to
I
jump
think
ahead.
okay. Jumping back a little to how hard 65 kilograms is. I've always thought Yanni is our best chance at like going and winning a worlds. I think he's our best international wrestler, if that makes sense. Like he might not always beat Zayn or Nick Lee or one of those guys, but I think he would perform better at worlds than most of the guys we have.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, jump on.
Yeah, so I was gonna mention. So did you see that graphic that came out um, regarding the U23 allocation, basically?
No, I didn't.
So it basically shows like the U20 USA U23 pecking order. So
Who gets
you
the spot
know,
if they want it?
yeah, who wins this? Who gets the spot? But essentially, like I think it's because there's so much young talent, either high schoolers um, or guys who are early, like freshmen in college or like about to be freshmen in college, that are becoming so good that it seems like U23 nationals is almost like a non-issue. Like it's just not. It doesn't hold as much weight as it used to, because if you are on the national team for seniors, you can take that spot if you are under 23.
So, and
So
when you say national team, that's top three, right? So
yeah,
you could take third at senior
or
trials.
or no, I think technically the national team is four, right? I
No,
thought it
I
was.
think it's three. I think that's why
Well,
they wrestled three.
well, okay. So the U23, the line, the order for 57 kilos is Luke Lilladall, who got second at Final X, so the number two guy. Nico Provo, who got fourth.
Third. Oh, fourth.
No, he got fourth. And then the third is the U23 champ, Mason Ziegler. Ziegler. So
So yeah,
isn't it crazy that like you could like battle through that tournament and win it and be like, oh, I'm a U23 world team member, but be like, oh, there's two guys ahead of me.
right.
You
That
know?
didn't even wrestle here, too.
Yeah, they didn't
Like,
wrestle in the tournament.
like, like
Um,
I won the tournament, but they get the spot.
Another one, 61 kilos, Jax Forrest, Final X finalist at 61. Number two, Marcus Blaze, he got third at the U.S. Open. Apparently, that's a criteria. And then Nick Bouzakis, who is the U23 champ.
I
So
think it is. It goes back to what you said. I mean, those are two perfect examples. Blaze and Lilladall are guys that are placing at senior level tournaments that are old enough to be in U20. You know what I mean? Like you said,
yeah,
like guys still in high school or are about to be freshmen, that type of thing. I don't think 10 years ago that was a problem. Like guys that young making U23 teams or senior national teams.
exactly. Yeah, it wasn't. And it's interesting. I think out of all the weight classes, there's only three that the U23 champ is going to be the guy. 86 kilos, Rocco Welsh, and then 97 and 125 kilos. I couldn't even tell you who they are, but yeah. So
Yeah, I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong. I wasn't as tapped into like wrestling when I was younger, but guys didn't wrestle above their age group. Like if you were in college, you went to U23s. You didn't go to senior the U.S. Open, like because you weren't a senior yet. You're still in U23. Like I remember David Taylor and Kyle Dake battling it out for university. It was university nationals at the time, not U23. But it's the same thing. They just changed the name. But like I don't know, we would never see Keegan O'Toole and Dean Hamidi battling it out for the U23 spot anymore.
exactly. Yep.
Like
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
just
know.
not,
Yeah,
like I said, it just doesn't hold as much weight because if you're that good, then you go to the senior level, and if you make I don't know top three in the national team, it's like U23 is just like a backup.
exactly,
It's
exactly.
crazy. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. Anything else you wanted to touch on?
Yeah, one short thing talking about U23s, U20s, all that. PJ Duke can wrestle in all three if he wants to, which is insane. But I want him to. I don't know if he's going to.
Did
My
he
thought process,
did he wrestle in the U20s
yeah,
this year?
yeah, he had a close match with Melvin Miller too. Because I saw people on Twitter like, dude, Melvin Miller
Whoa.
is the real deal. Like,
Melvin Miller is good.
yeah, yeah,
What do you mean he's the real deal? We know he's good.
obviously,
Yeah,
but we knew PJ Duke was good. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't think anybody thought he'd beat Yanni. Um, I don't know. My thought process in PJ Duke going to the Worlds is that Kale is licking his chops because this is a perfect way to be like, let's focus on the Worlds this year. We can redshirt you. We don't got to worry about college season because there's going to be some lineup issues if they don't redshirt him.
I think they're gonna send him. I think they're gonna put him out there.
I could see it too. But do you see my logic of saying like that's an easy way to? Because I'm sure PJ Duke wants to go. You beat a 4-time national champ, you probably want to go right away.
So, wait, I'm guessing he's a 57-pounder, right?
Yes.
Who's
K-Sac.
K-Sac. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I hate
And
to say it, he's definitely beating K-Sac.
yeah. And I don't think he has. You don't go up to 65 and get Messenbrink out of the lineup.
No.
So K-Sac
He has a
down
redshirt.
back to 40. Yeah. Does he? Yeah. They
He
both
went right
do.
away. He went right away
Yep.
2 years ago at 49, and then he went 57 this year.
That's the thing. I mean, you can redshirt him or PJ Duke, but you're just kicking that problem a year down the line. Unless is Messenbrink last year, next year? No, he's got
No.
2 more.
Yeah.
He's the same as K-Sac. Yeah, no, I mean, you're going to, yeah, I'm telling you, somebody's going to transfer
Too
there.
much of a good thing.
I think we might be the first time to K-Sac to Okie State.
Man. So I'm starting to think that maybe Penn State is just going to become like a little feeder program for for Oklahoma State. I'm
Okie State's
joking.
going to,
I'm joking. I feel like everybody will actually take that seriously. It's a joke. Oh my god! I just want to say it again. I am joking. Jeez, man, people
you
just
heard it
get
here first. Okie State is the AAA affiliate for Penn State.
the lug nuts. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we covered a lot today. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're good. I think
Yeah.
about an hour is about good.
Good stuff. I just want to say, for those that are continuing to listen and tune in, I appreciate you. This is obviously, I mean, you could probably tell if you watch our stuff, but we love this sport. We're trying to perpetuate it and bring eyes to it. So, thank you. Crespo, you got anything?
No, shout out to the listeners. Share it with your friends. Yeah, thanks for listening. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. That is a wrap. I believe this is episode 9 of the Legalize Stalling podcast. Peace out.